Right then, let's get started. If you haven't already logged on to eContrack, you can do so by navigating to eContrack.co.uk and entering your username and password. By hitting the login button, you'll be directed to the main menu of your eContrack database, easily recognised by the series of icons running across the screen. This how-to video is going to show you how to start creating your own reports using eContrack, and we're going to use the reporting tool to do this. When you select reporting, you're directed to the reporting folder view. As you create reports, all of your reports will be listed here. eContrack will give you the option to create bespoke folders for these reports to sit in, and if you choose to do this, they'll be displayed down the left-hand side of the screen, shown here by our demo folder. The number sitting next to the folder indicates the amount of reports sitting in that folder. Above the root folder is a filter called My Reports Only, and this is really important. While this is ticked, you'll only be able to see the reports which you have created. If you want to view or run, edit any reports created by your colleagues or perhaps us at Measure to Improve, you'll need to make sure that this box is unticked. When you do that, it's important to note that the number of reports sitting in a folder might increase. You can see that we don't currently have any reports created, so we're going to go ahead and create a brand new report. To create a new report, we're going to use the icons at the right hand side of the screen, and we're going to select Add. Selecting Add will prompt eContrack to ask you what sort of report you would like to produce, and there's a number of options, but the best piece of advice we can offer any of our clients starting to produce their own reports is keep it simple. We're going to demonstrate using Chart today. Selecting Chart is going to offer you a number of options which can be reported against. You'll learn more about these in the other how-to videos, but you'll notice that Score has automatically been pre-populated for you. eContract is assuming that you would like to report against the data which has been added to your electronic questionnaires or scorecards. To give you a quick example of what one of the other options would do, if you wanted to produce a report with a count of all of the templates or scorecards which have been added against a template, you could use the scorecard option and produce a count report. But for this demonstration, we're going to use Score. To navigate through the tabs at the top of the screen, we recommend using the Next button, and it will guide you through reporting like a wizard. However, as you become a more advanced user, you can click on each of these tabs individually and even skip tabs if that's what is appropriate to produce your report. Right then, as we've got Score already populated, let's hit the next icon to take us through the tabs at the top of the screen, taking us next to the template screen. This will list all of your available templates on your eContrack database that you can report from, and also asks you through radio buttons to choose which data you'd like to report on. You can choose the whole template, which means every single question on the template, a section, which might include 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, or an individual measure. You'll notice throughout all of our how-to videos that we refer to questions as measures. For this demonstration, I'm going to pick the whole template, and we're choosing our demonstration customer satisfaction survey. Selecting Next from here will allow you to continue through the remainder of the scoring wizard, taking us onto the Selection 1 tab. Selection 1 is easiest described as a filter. Your eContrack database is built up of a number of modules such as companies, contacts, projects and packages, and these are all reportable items. You can preview your chart at any time by hitting the show icon. Doing this at this stage after only specifying the template would give you a very overview picture, looking at all the data from companies, contacts and projects that had used the customer satisfaction survey template. If you wanted a more in-depth or drill-down approach, looking at one company or one project in detail, you can use the filter boxes, the two drop-downs on the Selection 1 tab, to specify your filters. The first drop-down box tells eContrack which module of the system you would like to filter by, for example, company, contact or project. Don't worry if your eContrack database has slightly more or slightly less options listed in this box. It all depends on how it's been configured. I want to have a look at company today. eContrack will then refresh, and the second drop-down box will list all of the items which can be filtered on under company. I just want to pick the company, so I'm going to select company. You then need to tell eContrack what company you want to look at, and you can do this by hitting the green add icon to the right. A company criteria box will appear now, and there's a couple of ways in which you can select the company you wish to look at. You can start by typing the company in the search box at the top, or you can just hit the magnifying glass. This is going to bring up all the companies in your database. Once you've selected the company you want to look at in detail, it will appear on the right hand side under Selected Company Criteria. Then hit Save. You'll notice that the company is now listed under Company underneath your template underneath the selected criteria. eContract's now going to output all of the customer satisfaction survey data just for one company, and I can show you that now by hitting Show. Depending on the internet browser that you're using, it will either open in a new tab or a new window. So you can see here on our template we have 3 questions, and it has output the data for that one company as a percentage rating. You can close that tab at any time and take yourself back to the Selection 1 criteria screen. You've seen the data output for one company, but now might be a good time to add in an additional company to compare the performance between the two. Pressing Next will allow us to continue through the reporting wizard and takes us to the Compare To tab. The Compare To tab allows us to turn on or turn off a Selection 2 criteria. If that is ticked, you'll notice the Selection 2 criteria tab is added to the top. Press Next to continue through the reporting wizard and you will see Selection 2, which is an identical screen to Selection 1. You'll need to repeat the process that we carried out in Selection 1 to add a second company. This can be repeated for projects and contacts, etc. We'll pick another company and then we'll output our graph to have a look at the performance between the two companies. I can go to Show now and you'll see a slightly different report. You can now see our Selection 1 is in blue, our Selection 2 is in red, so we're comparing the performance of two different companies here. Closing the tab will take you back to your Selection 2 screen. We can see our chart really starting to come together now. It's a perfect opportunity to press Next to continue through the reporting wizard and onto the Settings tab. Here we're greeted with information about our Y and X axis straight away, and we can see that the report is outputting using an average of a percentage rating. The customer satisfaction survey we asked people to score asked them to express their satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 5. So, to see the results on a scale of 1 to 5, we can use this drop down to move it to an actual score. A calculated score would be used on a formula measure. Beneath our y-axis we see the x-axis, and across the bottom is our score measure. These are the 3 questions within our template. eContract will allow you to have a secondary x-axis, but this cannot be used when using a Selection 2. Beneath the x-axis you see plots, and automatically score for both Selection 1 and Selection 2 have been selected by eContract. Each additional tick box which is selected will add an additional bar to the chart. We can now press Next to move on to the Style tab to tailor the report to our exacting requirements. The Style tab has a lot of complex formatting options which are available to all of our users. You can learn a little bit more about these using our other how-to videos, but there's some simple tips to really make your report stand out. You can change the output of your report from an image to an interactive image or a PDF. If you're using the report in another document, you can set the width and the height, but please make sure that you use pixels. When we showed you the report earlier, the bars were 2-dimensional. You can make these 3-dimensional for a little bit of depth, and you can choose one of 4 shapes for your bars: rectangle, cone, pyramid or cylinder. So for this example, let's use cylinder. Please note, you can't use the 3D or the shapes when you're not using bar or Gantt reports. We have a whole gallery of complex report types. Just select the radio button for the one that you want to use. You'll note earlier that the series said Selection 1 and Selection 2. Well, actually our Selection 1 and Selection 2 were our demonstration companies that we picked, so it'd be handy on the report if it said that so we knew which is which. You can go into the Series tab and you can see Selection 1 and Selection 2 score. You can apply different settings to these so you know which is which. This is going to make the report a little bit more tailored to your exacting requirements. Once you've done that, you can move on to the Title and Info tab. Generally, throughout the reporting wizard, when navigating from tab to tab, you would hit the next icon. When you're in the Style and Series tabs, the next icon does not appear. To make it reappear, hit the Chart tab and you should see it again. Alternatively, to move on to Title and Info, you can press Title and Info tab directly. This is the opportunity to give your chart a meaningful title, as this will be displayed on the top of your report. You can choose the font, the size, the colour and formatting options and provide additional information should you wish. From here we can press Next onto the final tab of the reporting wizard, which is Save. Give your report a title that both yourself and the colleagues that use the database will be able to understand the report. There's an opportunity to provide description if this is required. When you hit save, the report will save into whichever folder is highlighted in grey. If you don't have any folders set up, you will always have a root folder. To create a new folder, you can type the name of the folder and press the green add button. But make sure that you select where you want the folder to sit. If you want it to sit under root, select root and select add. When you've created your folder, you can hit save report and you should get a message saying your report has been saved. You're now able to show your report by going to the show icon to the right hand side of the screen. You'll be able to see now that the report has used a three-dimensional cylinder which we selected on the Style tab. Selection 1 and Selection 2 have been replaced with Demo Company 2 and Demo Company 4. The percentage rating has been replaced into an actual score. You can close that tab at any time to take you back to the Save tab on the reporting wizard. You can then hit the Library button towards the right hand side of the screen to take you back to your reporting library where you'll be able to see your report. We hope you've enjoyed and found useful the how-to video on basic reporting. If you've got any queries, please contact us at support@measuretoimprove.com.